today we're going to show you how to install Archer's ISC kit on a standard Genesis bow. Even though the kit was designed for a Genesis Pro, which has a bigger cutout in the riser, which allows plenty of movement in your side adjustment and your rest, it works really well on a standard Genesis bow. You just lose a little bit of left and right adjustment on the sight due to the fact that you got a little straighter riser on the Genesis bow. You're going to need a couple tools to do it. You're going to need an Allen wrench set, a pair of needle nose pliers, a tape measure, a lighter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to back the limb bolts off 8 turns, which allows us to put the peep sight and everything inside the string and separate that, so it makes it a lot lighter. Then we're going to take a standard measuring tape. We're going to measure up 16 1/4 inches from the bottom cam, flat against the cam, parallel to the string, and you'll see the bottom of my mark is at 16 1/4 inches. And that is going to be where our arrow is going to knock. That will be the bottom edge of the arrow. Now to install the rest, we're going to take the rest and the attaching hardware. We've already removed the standard flipper rest off the bow. We're going to flip that over. We're going to put this on in the threaded hole. We're going to tighten it down so that you can see both holes in the riser. That means the rest will be parallel to the riser. We're going to loosen this screw, move that all the way in towards the riser, and that'll set our center shot perfectly on the bow. So now we're going to actually install the Dloop. So you have 4 inches of Dloop material in your kit. So we set the knot there, right above where our arrow's going to go, and then the bottom one we're going to tie the exact same knot, Dloop knot, just like so. We're going to snug that knot down, but we're not going to make it super tight yet. We're going to maybe want to turn it to line it up with the peep so that's in the right spot. The arrow will be perfectly in that knocking point, and that is the Dloop. So to install the peep sight, it's really, really easy. One of the things we have to do is know where to position it, and it's going to be exactly 3 1/2 inches above the top of your arrow, and you can see I've already marked a line there on the arrow, so it's 3 1/2 inches above is where the bottom point of the peep is going to go. The peep aligner is at the top, the number 1 is at the bottom, and all you're going to do is separate the white and the black strings. That goes right into the bundle. We're going to move it up to it's at our 3 1/2 inch mark, and we're going to verify that's proper, and it is. So once that's in place, we're going to take some serving material and we're going to tie the peep in place. And there's lots of different knots you can use here. I got a little knot that I'd like to use. You do 2 wraps, wrap over the top. Snug that down a little bit, like so, slide it down to the peep. And we bring that serving material down through the track of the peep sight. We bring it around 3 or 4 turns here, and then an easy back wrap. So we go under the string, then we come up out over the string, and back wrap it back through 3 times. So we got our 2 knots, nice and tight on both ends of the serving. The peep sight, and our peep sight is in place. We're going to take our lighter. We're going to melt the ends of the serving string so that they don't come unraveled. So our peep is installed in the string. Then we're going to take our peep tubing, and then we're going to tie it to the cable here. We want to tie it to the cable because the cable doesn't move and the string does. So we're basically going to use half that same knot that we used for the Dloop. So we're going to come over just like so. Nice slip-free knot like that. Tighten that up nice. It's going to go on to this peep tubing alignment post here on the peep sight. Once you get your knot nice and snug, if there's any excess material there, you can cut that off. We'll cut that extra material off. Now you see that our Dloop is a little bit out of alignment for our peep sight, so that's where we're going to rotate it to line it up with our peep sight. And then we will, once we have that done, we will snug it in place where it's supposed to be. Tighten it up so that it doesn't slip. And we have our peep sight installed and aligned with our Dloop at that point. So we have a peep sight 3 1/2 inches from the top of the arrow rest. Our Dloop is in place. Bottom of the arrow is 16 1/4 inches from the bottom top of the cam. The next thing we're going to put in place is the poundage gauges on the bows. You get 2 poundage gauges, one for the upper and the lower limb on each bow. Very simple to install, although the pointer is a little fragile, so if you're not careful during installation, you could actually bend the pointer, so you have to be a little delicate with this. So you're going to take your poundage gauge, you're going to take out the installation bolt. if you pull it in over the gauge and then press it in and let it rebound back against the limb pocket, it will be perfectly installed there. Same thing here. If you just hold the little spring over the platform while you slide it through the hole until it's seated, it'll go up against the limb, and now it's over the top. So as the limb bolts tighten it, it will squeeze those in over your readings. Okay, so once that's in place, I'm going to flip the bow over. We're going to install our mounting hardware, and remember these are plastic. Okay, so those are our mounting hardware for the poundage gauges. You can see they're backed out now, they're off the ring, but as you tighten the limb bolts down, they'll move over, and you'll have 1 through 6 are your settings on the poundage gauges. So your poundage gauges are installed and ready to go. Next, we're going to move on to the sight. The sight's very easy to install. You just have 2 screws. So you're going to flip your riser over. The sight is ambidextrous. So you move it fairly close to the riser. Have the sight centered up and down. When you begin to shoot, it'll keep you really, really close to being on target, and then you can make your adjustments. And that'll change based upon distance and how much poundage you're shooting. We have a stabilizer that goes on the bow too. So you just thread this into the stabilizer hole. And now everything is installed. You're ready to tighten your limb bolts back down and bring the bow up to full poundage if that's what you want to do. The last thing that I'm going to show you is the release that you get in your kit. You can tell the wrist strap is numbered so that the wrist strap will always be in the same position every time they put it on their arm. The body is adjustable too, and it's finger adjustable. You slide the little black plastic lever up, and you can see that it's numbered. So when you use your gauge to measure a hand, you will see that you can slide that up and down to the particular hole that you want it to be in from the measurement gauge and drop it in place. That's the kit installed properly on a Genesis bow. It is ready to go out and put some arrows down range with your archers.